Welcome back to the HCS EU Pro League full finals for 2016, the second season, of course, of the Halo Championship Series here in Europe. We've had game one already, and what a game it was. We've also had a little bit of a switch up here at the desk. Welcome back to a man who's already done the commentary in the first game, but hell, he's here with us. Welcome back, Slinky.
Oh, are you serious? Who told you to say that? come on, let's have it. Who told you? It was you, wasn't it?
I cannot share. These are professional times, Harry.
Sims, I'm looking at you right now.
We do have two Harrys on the desk now, so we're going to have to differentiate them. So we've got the Crab and we've got Slinky, so that's good. Otherwise known as Lethal and Wonderboy. What a game, though, to start us off.
Wasn't it just?
I said to you beforehand, like, if we started and it'd been a bit of a blowout, we're kind of like, no, we kind of expected that. But 4-3, all 7 games, it's gone the other way.
All 7 games. It's very rare that we see in a best of 7 it ever go to all the way to 7 games. Especially when Egoed were 3-1 down. I don't think either me or Dan really expected that to happen. And then the fashion in which way they won Game 7, it was an absolute stomp, and then the rage quit.
The RQ came in.
Yeah. I just couldn't believe it. It was just almost a reverse sweep in total. But I thought Egoed might have been a little bit, almost given up. But they showed hope, didn't they? You know, there was a light at the end of the tunnel.
It's a lot of resiliency. It's not often that we see that from like open circuit teams as well. So I was very happy with what I saw. And
very impressed.
Could be a bit of a dark horse going forward as well.
And it now means, of course, we're set up as we move into our second match, whereby we could have a scenario where there are 2 teams in the upper bracket and we are guaranteed a new team in Pro League.
Can you imagine,
yes.
But we're getting ahead of ourselves a little bit, so we should tell you the matchup for the next one is between Prophecy and Bittersweet. When I spoke to Sims about this pre-tournament, he said to me, if there's a team here that could upset anyone, could make it into Pro League, it's these boys, these Bittersweet boys. They've got 3 ex-pro players, 2 played in the league, 1 played in the summer series as well, and they've got Shady as well, no slouch. So they've got the players. Have they got what it takes to take down the teams they need to?
I'm going to say you have, and I reckon there's going to be 2 pro teams and losers.
Really?
Definitely. I'm calling it now. Bittersweet, they have the slaying power and the abilities to do this, 100%. There's no reason to. They've completely dominated the AM scene just in general. If I remember, they beat Ego 4-1, if I remember rightly.
It was, yeah. They lost game 1 and then won the next 4.
And it's like you said, they've got 3 pro players. Every single one of them individually skilled. I reckon the pedigree skill they have for Pro League is right for it. I reckon they can keep up with the other pro teams if they did make it. But yeah, I reckon it's going to be a close one, but I reckon Bittersweet.
On the other hand, Prophecy, you look at the league form and you go, ooh, that's a bit rough. 0-10 and only won 3 maps, of which I think we pointed out earlier, we might not, I can't remember, but 2 of them were against a team who were sort of underpowered, shall we say.
Kind of like driving a car with 3 wheels.
Indeed.
Obviously you can't drive 3-wheelers, but you know, I say, listen.
But it wasn't a Robin Reliant, that was the problem.
No, yeah, exactly. That's the problem.
It was a Ford Escort with 3 wheels. And the problem is that leaves them having won 1 map. But joking aside, that's not good enough at Pro League level.
No, it's not. And I said it all season long, and some of the players weren't happy with me kind of pointing that kind of thing out. But it's not. It's not good enough. The fact
but they're facts. They're not opinions.
Yeah,
they haven't been good enough.
They
the
just
league
haven't
table
been good enough. 0-10. They didn't win a single series. They haven't won a single series since, well, technically relegation last series. But mid-season last season. So
indeed,
it's been a long while. They've lost something like 15 series straight in Pro League play. That's just not good enough.
That must be so bad for your morale.
But on the flip side, Harry, they've got the players. They are talented players.
All 4 of them are good, but I think the problem is, ever since they lost Cristola, that was their main slaying power. Gone. Don't get me wrong, all 4 of them are good players. Vexus is okay as a player, but he can't fill Cristola's shoes. No way at all. When I saw the lineup, I just assumed they'll probably go 1-9, 2-8, but never 0-10. And don't get me wrong, when they played really well in last season's relegation, but you could see they deserved it. They fought all the AM teams, but this time, no way.
Yeah, I'm hearing the vetoes are going to be with us shortly, so we'll show you those as they come up. But I do want to talk about Prophecy's ability to bounce back, Harry, because they did bounce back last season. They had a poor season last season, wasn't as bad as this season, but they came through relegation. How much is that going to count for them going into these matches today, having that experience of done it before?
Obviously the experience is great, but the difference between this season and last season is the fact that last season they were actually the 5th place team. So they had the kind of
choice.
Yeah, exactly. They had the choice. They had the privilege that VWS had, obviously, earlier on. Didn't really work out with VWS.
There's much of a privilege now, is it?
But last season they were able to pick and choose their opponent. This season they don't really have that kind of... they don't have that privilege. So it's a bit of a different task on their hands. Obviously, they have that experience in the past. Obviously, the Bucks have been there, done that. vetoes and Flames, obviously, a bit newer to the squad. Haven't really been up there player-wise, but I know Flames especially has won events in the past, so he knows what it takes to grind out series. But I don't know, man. There's something about this Prophecy team that just looks flat. They've looked really flat this season. Like you said, they're just lacking that star power that they had last season in Cristola, and I don't know. It doesn't look good for them going forward. That's
okay.
Map
vetoes have been done, Harry. Sorry to cut across you.
That's all right, no problem.
Fathom. Again, we're going to get Fathom as the first map. So,
well, as you remember last time, I'd said about the VWS situation where because it's a very diverse CTF game type, they could easily crush Ego for experience being on Pro League. But I think for Prophecy, just in general, I don't think that's going to happen. I think it could turn the other way depending on how well or how strong game one's going to be, because I reckon if Bittersweet do take game one, it could be a ridiculous scoring afterwards.
Can I just say
no?
Okay, that's fair enough.
Of course you can. It's only you're allowed to say whatever you want on here, Harry.
I was about to say, you're really showing your age. You've got your little dad glasses. You've got a notebook here, even though you've got a tablet.
And do you know what? He accused me of needing glasses earlier when we were with game one. I was like, what's the score? And he goes, it's 2-0. Do you need glasses or something? I was like, yeah, I didn't notice the second flag cap. So yeah, I think we're old together, mate. We'll just have to stick together. These youngins, they don't know anything.
I'm 22. The combined age here is like 60. I feel really
steady.
Young.
It's probably a bit more than that, actually.
Yeah, I was about to say.
I think we're closer to 70. Predictions time. Harry and Harry.
Yep.
Which way is this going?
I honestly think we could see two open circuit teams in relegation finals here. I really think it could happen. Bittersweet, we saw it in the last series, VWS versus Egos. The hunger really paid off, and I honestly think Bittersweet are one of those teams, just like Ego, who've been grinding open circuit all season long. They've been playing arena, they've been playing the game. Prophecy haven't had anything to play for. I don't think they realise what's at stake here. I really don't think they actually realise what's about to happen if it does eventually happen, because they've had no reason to play since Pro League finished. Since they went 0-10. I'm not sure how much they've played. That's the real question. If they've been practicing, if they've been drilling, then maybe they have a chance. But again, I just look at this Bittersweet team, and they've looked so hungry all open circuit season long, and such strong players across the board.
All I can see is if there's a series they want to win for the last 2 months, it has to be this one. I reckon, don't get me wrong, last season they got relegated to losers round 1, but they came back. If they get relegated again, it's going to be a much, much harder struggle. These players are 10 times better than the ones compared to last season. Yep. And yeah, it could be a losers round 1 knockout as well on top of that if they go out here.
I think 4-1. I'm going to give Prophecy a map.
Wow, that's generous.
Which is pretty good for what they've done all season long.
I was going to say as many as they've technically got all season.
11% map win rate.
To be safe, I'm going to give them a map, but I honestly think Bittersweet, they should really be taking this series.
I reckon it's going to be about a 4-2, maybe 4-3. But you got to remember, Warlord has been giving him a bit of beef online, hasn't he? With Prophecy. He's been saying they don't deserve it. I should be in there. He's been calling the shots, saying how it is. So Stu, you better.
Yeah, he's got to back it up now. He's got to
deliver.
It up.
Oh yeah.
Deliver. All right, gents. We'll hear from them, of course, at the end of the match. But we are headed towards our commentary team in just a moment. But before we get there, a quick reminder for you: you've got 5 minutes starting now to go over to halo.gg right now and
let me get my phone out. Hold on.
For a rec pack. Harry's already busy doing his right now as well. You've got 5 minutes. There's 1 gold rec pack right on there right now. All you have to do is go to halo.gg and enter the code. Do it now, very quickly, before we head over to the commentary team. And then you can be tuned in for game number 2, because this one is going to be a big one. It is Bittersweet going head-to-head with Prophecy. All the smack talk's been done on Twitter. It's time for the action. Let's head over to the commentary team.
Thank you very much, Paul. Yes, indeed, myself and Bravo. Andy, welcome back to Leicester, my friend. How are you feeling?
I'm great. It's fantastic to be here. Of course, we couldn't have asked for a better start to relegation. You and I were talking. Last time relegation had some surprises in that the amateur teams did not really perform as well as maybe some had hoped, or maybe the pro teams really kind of got a kick in the pants and realized that there was a lot on the line here, but we're already off to a much more exciting start here in the fall.
I mean, we've already seen a best of 7. We went all the way to game number 7, and then right at the end there, I have no idea what happened. Game 6 escalated rather quickly, and then we saw a quick rage quit, which kind of told the entire story.
That's got to be the first rage quit I have seen, in a very long time, if not ever, in a true kind of sanctioned pro event.
However, not that I condole it, I do think it was game over because they wanted
there was
that.
no chance.
They absolutely wanted it. They nailed them to the wall, and
yeah.
Credit to them. They're moving forward in the winners bracket. Can we see another team advancing forward as well to match up against them? If we do see Bittersweet advance from here, then we are going to see a changing of the guard, ladies and gentlemen. It will, of course, be one team going to the Pro League, a new team, which we haven't seen. We've got to kind of drop back a little bit. Denial in North America. I thought originally in summer season, they're going to knock out Optic. Optic came out springing, survived. Same thing here. We kind of thought, Prophecy, which were the dinosaurs at the time.
Yeah.
Yes, they're going to be going home. No. Everyone survived.
Yep.
Got the same teams, but I don't think that's going to be the same.
Yeah, could have a very different story here, and Europe could be maybe, and perhaps Europe is the one to kick it off, right? Maybe we also see it in NA, of course, next weekend. But certainly another good series here. We were actually talking at the end of that Lethal on the desk. By the way, great to have Harry with us this weekend. He said, Truth TS is a momentum-based game type, and whoever gets off to a great start is going to take it. And sure enough, Fuel Rod, Camo, 6-0 lead, and they did not look back.
Every single time it was just constantly top, middle, carbine. The rifles, every single part of the highness, if that's an actual word, they controlled it. They had all the height advantage every single time. They had the weapons, they had all the guns, all the power-ups. It was just a slaughter, and the better team won at the end of the day. Congratulations to them. They'll be moving on to face the winner of this matchup right now. It's going to be Prophecy taking on Bittersweet GG. Game number 1 will be Capture the Flag on Fathom. Remember to tweet the stream, use the hashtag HCS. I apologise for my terrible accent. It's worse than normal due to an oncoming pre-LAN flu. Andy, do you have any kind of predictions whatsoever for this one?
For this one, I don't actually know what to expect, just based off purely the speed that Fathom CTF is going to be played here. But now kicking things off here, of course, with Prophecy on the red side, it's going to be Flames, Buck 20, Buck 57, and Vex.
Prophecy once again are 0-10 in the current league. But you know what? They survived last time. Can they do it again this time? It's going to be a tall order on board with 57, getting shot in the back. Will swing around, drops a grenade. No hit markers whatsoever, so that player is going to be laughing as he takes top middle control. We've got Anima as well. You can see there, Dave on there helping his teammate out. Grenades are going to go into the corner. No hit markers are found. Rubenstein, I'm assuming that's Anima every single time we watch. That's a triple kill actually coming out of him as well. Probably looking for the over there. Top mid control with the railgun. Why do you play on so many accounts, Anima? Please stop choosing a new one every single week. Flames will battle, and unfortunately, he will win. Excuse me, not unfortunately. As we now see Buck 20 going, taken down as well by Warlord. And it is in fact Anima. We can always tell by the Dave, at least we keep that one the same. Camo control, top mid control, railgun in hand, Andrew. This is a very nasty combo.
You told me to worry about those gamer tags, and you weren't kidding. He is certainly on having to make my actual kind of gamer tag sheet to know exactly how to switch on a controller is always difficult with him, but we'll go back over to Solar here for the first time.
And they've actually got a flag in. I didn't even see that because I was too busy focused on what was going down the corner. So it's going to be 1-0 already there for Bittersweet. Solar will drop on board with Vexus coming into Treehouse now. Light rifle in hand. Throwing a few grenades. See if we get any hit markers. Nobody's down in that corner. Will bag himself the splinters as well. Drops onto his knees. Going to jump up and down. Solar's forced to back off though. Nice little battle's going to go on. But look at the aggression there, Solar.
Yeah.
What I said, bring it on. You want a piece?
Yeah, I mean, Vex also answered it pretty well. I thought he was going to clean it up with that first light rifle shot, but regardless, does have help there. But you got to give it to Vex for holding down the treehouse like that. We'll see if they can rally back here.
Moving around on that then, two of them going to pass up and walk in, straight up on the little door there. We get some nice clean shots off, not a single one hit from Vexus. Flames jumps in on the other hand, that's going to be top mid, he takes down Solar, so the one-man advantage. 20 takes down Shady as well. That's going to be Warlord answering back, so the Gen is cleared out as 57 will drop. Vexus needs to be careful, gets his shields back, but Solar straight off at the spawn there, no one helping him out, and the flag unfortunately does not leave that base whatsoever.
Yeah, it was really good shots there from Vex as we'll go back over the other side. Looks like it's going to be, I think, the second flag should be coming in momentarily. I'm not sure if there was a pull then. There you go. And it's going to be Anima who brings that second one in as well. 2-0 off the break.
This is looking pretty bad and escalating rather quickly, I've got to say. We're only 2 minutes into the game. We're already 2-0 up in flag. We did say this game could be rather good because this team is the dominant one. These guys are the winner of the European Open Circuit. They've been looking dominant, 3 ex-Pro League players. And honestly, if they weren't playing as good as this, I'd be highly, highly surprised. Anima's going to get shot in the back, turns around, his teammates there as well to support him. Look, for, wow. He's actually going to clean it up, so he'll take that one out. Shady will support him as well. looking for another flag to be run any second, but no one's in a position to pull that one at this moment in time. But look at that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. At least he's tagging these players up with the splinters, so he knows exactly where they are.
Yeah, he's going to be able to push in now. And I have to say, I mean, the light rifle is such a dominant weapon, and it's not surprising when players do so well with it, but there's a certain number of pro players in both North America and Europe who seem to really be gravitating towards that light rifle, right, and be so skilled with it, and they can do such damage with it. It's so dangerous. Now go back over to Buck 20, see if they can turn something, make something happen here. 9 minutes left.
You speak about the light rifle, the amount of times we see people just picking it up, a flag will be on the way. They don't even have to kind of overextend, so to speak. They'll just scope in with that thing. It becomes a bit of a mini sniper rifle. You can just 3 people across the map. It's a great weapon. Glad it's in the window. 57 though, unfortunately, misses the initial beatdown, but does back up. He'll clean that kill up with the AR. Going to play down some quick landmines, and hopefully one of the opponents will come around the corner and walk into them. Down goes one though. He finds one shield. There's another one shot as well, so that's 2. Going to clean up this flag and move it towards his teammate there. Going to run straight into the treehouse. So, yeah, listen for the call-outs. Great teamwork, great top-mid control. Whether they can make this one happen or not, I don't know, because, Andy, there are people inside their own base running a flag themselves.
Yeah, obviously, this is where you have to be careful. When you're down 2 flags and you're running the flag back in this fashion, these kills are going to be of paramount importance, especially right here. I think they're going to be able to get the kill in the courtyard as well, but another player's pushing, so we'll keep an eye on this. You have to make sure that you don't let those flags go back, and they might be returned, but no, this looks like a clutch grab there indeed, so we'll go ahead and stay on board with the guys here. I think it's going to be, yes, Vexus who has that flag in hand, but they have no room for error here, right? They cannot let this flag get returned. It'll be almost certainly the end of the game.
I mean, I like what Bittersweet did there. You just saw them with the flag. They tossed it into pit, and they says, all right, we need to try and get our flag back. One teammate is going to be Vexus, obviously a much stronger slayer of this roster. He's going to leave the flag. It's actually going to get returned, so now he's going to move across, so that one's going to come in, but he goes to get his own return as well. Oh, quite impressed that nobody really opted to help him out on that one. So he needs to pull this now. This is a big kill. Unfortunately, he will drop. The flag is returned.
Yeah, going to be both flags back at home for both sides. So let's now go over here. Now back over to Buck 20. What we just saw, I think, is good signs of life from Prophecy, right? The past 2 minutes, we saw a little bit of a flag stalemate, and they're going to go ahead and move over into getting that clutch return, even though their flag was returned moments prior. So they're getting pushed against the wall, and they're starting to push back. It took them a little while in this game, but if they continue playing this way, they might be able to sneak out a win in this match.
Solo trying to survive. Unfortunately, he does not. He will die and get cleared up in their courtyard. Vexus comes back for the defensive. Just going to make his way over to his gen, crouching down, making sure nobody comes around the corner. Shady's in the courtyard, Camo's there as well, looking for 2 big important kills. He's getting pushed super aggressively. At least he's putting down a splinter. If anybody wants to try and walk into this room, they won't get very far. But unfortunately, the flag is on the move here, so they need to do something. They need to support them out. There's plenty of people dead across the board. Sola's inside the base as well. But the flag's still out. This could be a very sneaky gap because they don't know where it is, Andy.
Yeah, it looks like they have not pinged that flag just yet. I don't think I've actually seen a single instance of that carrier being spotted, so we'll have to see exactly where that flag has moved at this point there. You're going to see that flag spotted.
20 trying to do some damage with the light rifle. Nice, perfect kill coming out of Solo, though. Takes down 57. He comes flying through the air. Random Nades comes across the map. 1, 2, 3 members of Bittersweet will drop down. 6 minutes remaining on the clock. And we're still in a little bit of a standoff here. Vexus is going to run this one as well. 2-1. They've actually put it in. That's completely my mistake there, guys. Do apologize. 6 minutes, 2-1. Vexus running another one, but he needs to be careful. Just on radar, Andy, I've seen 2 people down at the VAT, so he needs to be extremely careful. Nice to throw that out, though, but he needs his teammates to clear house.
Yep, taking a look, and it looks like it is going to be the Buck Twins now trying to stay alive in the pit as well and cut them off. But as you see on the radar, several players pushing across, and that's going to be a 2-2. So just as I had said, you know, I'll give myself a little bit of credit there. We're seeing a totally different Prophecy, right? And since the 9-minute mark, when we just said it was 2-0, but they're able to fight back now. They've got 2 flags on the board. Here we are now, tied game. Anyone can take this game 1, and you know, if you're on the side of Bittersweet, you got to be ready to put on the Jets, because you do not want to lose this game after being up by such a margin.
It seems to be just trading back and forth at the moment. However, here comes Shady. They need to shut him down, which they do. Warlord's one shot as well, but he's running with that flag, jumping over the gap so no one get it. Few grenades are going to come out of flames. He is going to get some hit markers. Anima's around the corner. He's going to challenge it as he does. Takes him down with the AR. That flag is running in, so long as there's another person there, that should be game number 1 going in the hands of Bittersweet. But look at this, there's a little bit of a fight going on. A couple of signs of life at the end, just didn't quite land it through. 3-2 will be the final score, and for both teams, I've got to say, they capped both flags pretty much simultaneously, back-to-back in quick succession. That's right, and if you are, if you're on the side of Bittersweet, you got to be happy that they're able to squeeze it out, just like you said, because those back-to-back caps are so dangerous. Had Prophecy been able to get that game, I mean, that sets such a pace for the series. But to Bittersweet's point, their win will also do the same. However, that 3-2 victory, not as sweet as it could have been if it was the 3-0 that we really expected throughout the first 4 minutes of the game. However, Prophecy showing that they had a lot of resilience in the late game, and this series could also be going to the later games in the match. 18 kills then coming out of Anima. I don't know why he uses so many tags. Just, I've never, ever been able to fathom it. No pun intended whatsoever there. 57, fortunately, at the bottom with only 8 kills. But yeah, you mentioned showing live through the game. They really started to pick it up and bring it back. I was very surprised that we didn't, even at the end, possibly even see them taking it.
Yeah, look at that. I mean, we had Anima landing those great light rifle kills. You had top mid control. We're still 2-0 here. This is the moment, though, where you see Buck 57's double kill, and they started that flag run, and then obviously this big return, like you said, the pit throw. Starting to see, I mean, it sounds like it has been the story, right, for Prophecy all season long. It's that these guys know exactly what to do, and at times they just aren't able to pull it off. But what we saw in the middle of that game was, yes, these guys know how to play this game. They can do it very well, and they have moments where they can show us that. But I have to say, I'm proud of what Bittersweet was able to do. They had a solid opening. With the talent they have on that roster, you'd expect them to close out that game. But it says a lot about Bittersweet to not all of a sudden fall in that match, even though they certainly were losing momentum towards the latter half of the game.
You're looking on screen now, your map vetoes for game number 2. We're going to be going into a Truth Team Slayer. Obviously there you can see Bittersweet coming in with the initial ban on the rig. Prophecy took out Regret. Came back on Colosseum, that was taken out by Bittersweet. Prophecy ban will come out from Eden. Plaza also falls as well, and then we land ourselves on Truth. Truth we were speaking about earlier, Andy, how it's just such a high level. You keep up high, you keep the BR, the carbine, stay around top mid, and just kind of work as a team to just lay down and pin them back in a base, which is exactly what we saw earlier on from Egod.
Yep, absolutely it. I mean, and the biggest thing is that if you're on the back foot, right, you need to be able to push out of your team's base, and you need to be able to get those shots on players top middle so that you can fly up the pink streets, you can fly carbine, even make bold plays bottom middle, and whichever team is able to, because you expect at this level of play, you're going to see both teams exchange control a few times. There's going to be tug of war. So the question is, when you're on the defensive, when you're on the back foot, which team is able to actually counter back?
So we're hearing that the game is potentially live. We're going to check the eye in the sky, and if spectate mode is there, we're going to be diving on into game number 2.
Yes, indeed.
Truth Slayer, tweet the stream, use the hashtag HCS. Can we see Bittersweet grab themselves another win and just get 2 games closer to facing off against Egod, who they have played before? Now they did beat them in the upper bracket, in the open circuit, so much more of a comfortable game, I want to say, if they do get through. They know they've played these guys before. However, no discredit to Prophecy whatsoever. There were signs of life, there were signs of what we see of a Pro League team. That 0 and 10, I still say it's a horrible number to look at, as Red Eye mentioned. You look at it, you think, wow, these guys are pretty poor, but the players on there, they are absolutely far from it.
That's it. Now, can pick this match up with Flames. I don't think we got to spend too much time on his screen last match, so we'll have to see if the boys on Prophecy can bring in this game, but they will fall right away immediately. So now over to Vex, who does have a nice top mid vantage point.
A little bit of a curse of the caster there. Unfortunately, Dan will go down. We are still on board with Vex, so he's going to take a quick look around, check down at camo. There's going to be, he just catches Solar making his way into P2, but he needs to be very careful. There's a guy crouching in there, but that person, whoever, it's going to be Warlord, excuse me, actually didn't turn around in time, so there goes one. He gets the assist from Buck20. Buck20 hits the call out. And now, but look at all of his teammates, though. They're all blocked in at Car 1 and 1, 2, 3 players.
That's right, they all are. So right now, just hopping his way down here, staying off radar, but pops on radar for a second. So, Warlord is actually going to know that he is up there. And it looks like Warlord is going to be the one who closes that out. So he will fall as well. So back over to Anima.
This could be trade for trade, both these teams. Don't want to lose this game because there is a lot on the line for these rosters at the end of the day, and even if it's nothing else, it's just bragging rights. Shady with a double in the kill feed as well. Anima's picked off bottom mid, he's just trying to find some cover. Unfortunately, it's always a bit of a dead zone. Warlord as well at P2 takes out one player. Look at Solar's POV now. Buck20 comes in with the Storm Rifle, but unfortunately the bunt end gun of Solo's weapon will take him out as he just rams it into his face. We'll find another player as well. He just Warlord with a double kill. Fuel Rod in hand. 57 drops down from P3. 57 again getting beaten down by Solo. This man has a mean punch.
Yes, he does. 13-6, a pretty good opening indeed. And so far, what we're seeing is definitely things pointing towards the changing of the guard. Really good openings that we've seen from, I think, both teams at this point, but certainly in both of these games, some excellent openings. My gosh, look at that. I love that aggression from Solar, right? Why wait? Drop down with that Storm Rifle, immediately fly into the Fuel Rod, and here they are now with a 16-9 lead.
He does only have one bullet in the chamber, though, so I at least want him to see it kind of out now, ready to go, ready to use it, so to speak, but just throwing those grenades, finally tacks him up, almost runs into his own, looking at the radar. If 20 comes around this corner, there we have it, green screen of death. Killing spree comes in for Soda as well, 19-11, 10 minutes on the clock. Still plenty of time, but she's starting to escalate a little bit quicker. The pace of the game has sped up, Andy.
And a great play by vetoes. I mean, oh, and finally, actually, he will maybe die to his own Splinter based on the fact that it was a Storm Rifle kill, I think, but good play by vetoes to try to keep his team alive here, though they're down by, you know, an ever-growing margin.
Anima with the double beatdown takes out one player. That's actually going to be Flames. 57 on the kill feed as well. Now they have some power weapon control. Interesting to see Anima with a Hydra in the back pocket. It's not a weapon we see a lot of usage of. Look to see if any man is going to utilize this weapon, it's going to be this one, because he just does some weird and wonderful things. However, Fuel Rod control looks to be firmly in the hands of, I'm going to say, Bittersweet from remembering on the kill feed. Panama taking P3 control, just firing some bullets, get that last shot, go on, unfortunately doesn't, as we will see 57 coming straight out of the bubble.
Yeah, look at this. I mean, Anima, you can just tell he's playing. I love the way he plays that. I think the best way to describe it is just a little bit creatively, right? I mean, he's doing things that are slightly unorthodox here, jumping off of P3 to shoot all the way to car, then immediately has those pre-nades on the car window and almost wins that battle as well. So I like what I'm seeing from him, which is no surprise. I think ever since we first started seeing Anima, actually my first time watching him play was here, just puts on quite a show, and the scoreboard certainly reflects that right now.
32-18, it most certainly does. Anima going to reload 2 bullets in the chamber. Will just cop for Flames just for a second. 57's there. Doesn't get the second shot. I liked what he was doing, putting his weapon away, then finishing off with the BR because he didn't need to waste that second bullet. Unfortunately, didn't quite go his way. Solo will back off potentially from a grenade from his teammate there. Nice little bit of a friendly reminder of who your teammates are and where they are. 3 players though, locked back in blue. Here comes the sword though from vetoes, looking for more kills. He's hiding around the corner, whips it out. He doesn't actually whip it out, but he's going to kill himself again, Andy. That's the second time.
Yep, such an interesting exchange there. We'll go over to Flames, but yeah, the miss sticky and then the splinter nade that maybe didn't need to be thrown, and vetoes is going to kill himself there as he had the sword. So definitely an odd series of events that led to, if you have to pick one, I guess the better ending there for Bittersweet, as vetoes is going to lose the sword and get a suicide. But what a wacky way to get there. Score is going to now be 35-23.
I think Flames is just waiting for someone to walk straight out of the base and into his oncoming green gun, but they're not moving anywhere. Anima's just caught for him now. He's going to... Oh, wow. Oh, he actually bent and just tagged him straight up. Very, very impressive stuff.
That was a solid bend here. Something I would only expect to see in the heart of England.
Only in England would you get a bend.
It's true. But Flames, like you said, just the discipline he has there, even though they're down by so much, to make those plays certainly stand up. But now we'll go ahead and go over to Shady here. As you see, they're getting close to victory, 40-26.
Yeah, only 10 more kills, 7 minutes to do it within plenty of time. Warlord's getting tanked up, gets taken down by Flames underneath the base.
I think Warlord had Camo Fuel Rod just now as he did get back to whack, so unfortunate for him, but he may have been running out of one of those 2, if not both, however. But I think Shady might have known. I think he's maybe looking for the Fuel Rod. I may be mistaken, though. He may just be trying to get this position here on the needles to get the angle on Flames. But regardless, they don't really need either of those power weapons or power-ups to close this out. They're only 8 kills away.
Yeah, Shady's so close to a double there. 50. Excuse me, it's going to be 20. We'll get dropped. You can see the little golden arrow for the assist medal there. Warlord comes in, cleans up the 1 shot, but now 1-2. They're going to be spawning there as well. Will get locked inside that base. We've got vetoes in the window. Probably on 57 though, if he wants to try and break this, he can do something from where he is there over in P side. He's forcing 1 player back, he's got the BR in hand, so at least he can land some great long range shots. However, Shady, I am just covering, picking up a fresh sword, as he does catch on radar 1 player either below him or above him. We can see it's above him, he doesn't know that yet. Look for this player though to drop down straight in. Here we go, it's going to be Warlord, but he walks into a big line of green.
So right here, we're starting to see finally signs of control from Prophecy. I think it's going to be too little too late this time, but it's not too different from what we saw in game number 1, right? They waited until they were down by a significant margin and they start to crawl back. To be honest, if this game was 4 kills closer, I would tell you that I bet Prophecy could climb back, but with this 10-kill deficit, I think it's going to be much tougher on Truthslayer.
But there's still plenty of time. But look at the advantage that they've got. They do, however, can keep them pinned inside that base. But I think the major problem is that they're down in kills. They need to be the ones who approach them. They need to be the ones that rush. But Bittersweet are taking no for an answer.
Wow.
Anima gets destroyed by the fuel. The 57 is dropped as well as Shady tries to take control.
And gotta give credit to Solar. He stood his ground there on top car and held that down. Flames and Buck 57 were weak in pink. Solar made sure that those 2 kills were cleaned up, and it gets them that much closer. You know, if they hadn't gotten those 2 kills, it could be a 35-42 game, 43 game, where it'd be a little bit too close for comfort. But right now, with bold plays like that from Solar, they're going to make quick work. It's 48-37. Here's the Fuel Rod camo combo, only 2 kills to go. And
he opts to put it away to save the bullets because he knows this is almost over. Shady comes in with the assist. 1 more kill is GG. They will take this 2-0. There we have it. It's going to be Anima picking up 57 in the final few seconds of the game. 50-37 is the final score. Let's take a look at the kill feed and show you guys exactly who was doing damage in map number 2. 15, 15, 14, and 6. But look at the assist coming out of Anima. That's crazy.
I was going to say that's the first thing that caught my eye as well. I mean, the next closest player is going to be Buck 20 with 9. So to rack up those 13 assists, you know, dropping negative numbers, but obviously in a game where you win by such a margin, 13 kills, those 13 assists, right? Those are the difference maker right there.
Yeah.
Right. I'm so not surprised to see Anima putting up numbers like that. But Warlord and Solar with solid numbers all around. But Shady, 14-7, I believe the most positive in the game there. So the story was really all about Bittersweet there. This time they turned on the Jets and they really didn't look back.
I mean, you look at Anima, this is the kind of thing that we do see from him. When it comes to, you know, objective, he's a very strong objective-based player, and he will do anything to get the win. And I don't think sometimes his stats necessarily reflect that, but he's a really wild and diverse, and the things that you see him doing are just both questionable, bizarre, and impressive. But when it comes to a Slayer, you do see him turtle back a little bit. He knows he doesn't have to rush, he doesn't have to go insane.
Great play from Solar there, right? You know, if you're a Fuel Rod player, you're not expecting the player who's weak, who just got called out undoubtedly. Here's a play with Vexus, and the sword kind of mishaps all around, but Solar gets the better of that. But if you're a player and you're hearing call-outs as a player weak in the top of the base and you're bottom of the Fuel Rod, you are not expecting that player to drop down and try to take you down, and that's what Solar took advantage of.
And you know what? It kind of says it when you look at the stats. That's exactly how it all unfolded. So game number 3, as we do see Bittersweet edge further close to what's going in that upper bracket. And honestly, right now, a new team in Pro League is looking rather good.
It is. 2 more games for them. They will, of course, meet on the upper bracket, and what a special show it'll be, having our first and second open teams battling it out, and the Pro League teams waiting at the bottom to see which one not even will have, you know, at that point, it's not even which will have the chance to fight again. It's who's not going to be the first pro team eliminated, right? Because you do not want that to be your story of the day and ultimately the story of the season. Lots more Halo still to play, but as you said, Sims, it is looking like we may have a change of the guard indeed.
You can see we're going into game 3, which will be Empire, and it's going to be Strongholds. Now, the last Empire Strongholds we saw about 20 minutes, half an hour ago was insane.
It was.
That was... I think VWS were something like 74 to 10 at one point.
That's what the number was, yeah. And I think we heard that the deficit was even lower at a few minutes earlier. But yeah, Empire's you expect Empire to play that fast, and it absolutely did. It doesn't always happen that the wild comebacks happen on that map specifically. You know, the rig comebacks might be a little bit easier due to the more structured setups, but certainly possible, as we learned in the last series.
Well, we will find out. Spectate is live, so we're going to go dive on in and get stuck into this game. It's going to be Prophecy trying to get a win on the board, as we do see Bittersweet. They're going to be 2-0 up, and only 2 more games away from that upper bracket to play Egod, which, to be honest with you, I want to say could be an awesome game, because Egod looked like a different team compared to last time. The one thing I really want to touch on, if they do this, that's VWS, who dropped Anima. VWS are down in losers, and Anima's here.
Yep, and you know, yeah, it's all about who's going to get the last laugh between those 2 squads, right? Who will advance not only further in this bracket, but potentially into Pro League. All of that still to be decided here, but excited to get things off, kick things off. Now we're going to start things off with Buck 57 on Prophecy. But for Sims, the story for me of this series so far has been Prophecy waking up a little bit late or not at all in these games. And if you're Prophecy, you don't want that to be how the series ends. If I'm on that squad, I know there's a chance that they can still win this series. They came close in game number 1. Game number 2, they had signs of life. But here we are in game number 3 now. Still anyone's series, but Bittersweet up 2-0.
One thing I've got to point out is it looked like Bittersweet have opted to leave the power-ups and go and just claim pit and then take it from there. But I suppose if you can, we've got the saw in hand. You can see Anima going one-on-one here with Vexus. If he dies, that's going to be huge. He does at least clean him up. 1, 2, 3 kills, all dropping consecutive seconds, even so to speak. He does have the saw though. One person's going to poke outside the window, jumps back in. 57 challenging. There's a double. Nice big double for Shady. That will put them in the driving seat in just a second as that does tick over. If no one challenges them, we have 2 players over at tower. 1, 2, 3. Triple cap though, Andy will drop just as quickly as that. They have 2 caps, then it goes straight to 3.
Now here's a question of how do they respond now as you have the triple, of course, on a map like Empire. You have to have your head on a swivel. It applies to any time you're playing Strongholds, but especially a map that is so close quarters like Empire. The decisions you make immediately after a trip cap are going to ultimately decide your fate for the next few minutes. And just like I said, they go ahead and they actually lose those 2 points there. We'll go now over to Warlord, but they weren't able to hold that for too long. But now if they can get into a comfortable 2 holds for a minute, maybe 2 if they need to, they can start to rack up points and start to establish control.
Warlord's going to jump in. Unfortunately, second out though. 57 and 20 doing work. 1, 2 kills on the board. All 4 players just dive bombed in pit. They're going to claim that one back. Flames is going to try and jump in the window. Now, if he can get the reset on that, that'll be the triple cap. Unfortunately, it doesn't happen. Over on the other side, though, we do have to see 57 opted to go help his teammate out. Vexus are in trouble, and they both just get burned.
Yeah, I was going to say, what I would have liked to have seen there certainly would have been a little bit of a maybe more delayed hold in that base. They absolutely got wiped out as they tried to get back, and that's going to be another trip cap here. So Bittersweet, it seems to be, even if they lose immediate control after a trip cap, it only took them, I would say, maybe a minute and 20 seconds to get another trip or so. Maybe it's a little bit of an understatement. It might have been closer to 2 minutes, but still, for them to be able to get this triple cap as fast as they did definitely indicates that they're playing this game at a pretty good speed.
And look at Warlord. He wants the trip cap again. He's just beelining straight towards that red base. Just going to check out pit, make sure no one else is there. His teammates clearly got the call out that we've got this, don't worry about it. Moves and opts to rotate over to blue, which is absolutely fine. He's going to check that no one else is there because there is Flames. Now this is a great position. Look at that. He knew that Vexus were going to challenge his teammate. He did trade off with him. One player's going to jump up. Flames is no shield whatsoever.
Oh my gosh! What a sequence of events there. That is some next level meta prediction grenades there, or some extreme luck. I think it might be the latter. However, that looked. I was thinking to myself, is he about to thrust onto the plasma that he threw about 2 seconds ago? Look at those shots from Warlord.
Yeah, it just takes out the Saw guy. Saw will drop down. There's going to be Vexus picking it up in the background as well. Please don't get backwards.
Oh, that's a dangerous place to drop down.
Very, very close. And then Solar coming in with a double beatdown does finally get taken down. At the moment, it's just a scrappy battle for pit, and well, to be fair, that's kind of the story of Empire, right?
It is. It's constant back and forth. There's absolutely no time where you have a moment to catch your breath or decide exactly where you want to push off of the spawn. Before you even respawn, you need to be understanding where you are most likely to respawn and which direction that you're going to go. Look at Solar mopping up at blue.
Just steams on him with the AR, takes that one, falls down 2. Flames joins the party as well, mows him down. There's the killing spree, protects a medal. All 3 members of Prophecy, excuse me, don't have to 3 on there, 3 members will come off of the spawn. And just instantly, as soon as they're doing that, Andy, they're under fire every single time. There is no time to breathe or just kind of get the bearings together.
That's right. Right now, they're going to try to desperately, it looks like Prophecy, get a pit hold, and then if they can, maybe push out of there. Really good job by Buck 57 to stay alive as long as he did. Buck 20 is going to try to clean a few of these up as he has some help as well. But like we said, we're seeing Bittersweet really on top of those collapses and those pushes and being able to rotate. And it's all about playing the game, you know, 1 step ahead of your opponents. That's what we're seeing for Bittersweet, and once again, it's showing on the scoreboard.
Everything's going well again here for Prophecy. I think they're doing the thing what you didn't want to see them do, Andy, where they're starting to heat up in the latter stages of this game. 20's just chasing people down with his new combo. Fine Shady, does he? He actually has... Did he have OS? Potentially. Maybe wrong on that one. If not, but Prophecy, triple cap in effect, Andy, racking up some serious points. How long they can keep a hold of that? This is the comeback time. If they really hold it for a while, get some serious points on that board.
Yep.
57 and 20 coming out, dishing out some kills. If they can take down Warlord, this would be massive.
Yeah, but and it looks like there's other players spawning here as well, so they're going to need to get a few kills, and it's not going to be an easy push because he just pushed on a base that was now packed with people at that point. We go over to Shady, but if you're Prophecy, Strongholds is your game type, because what we've seen from them so far is that they wake up late in matches, and Strongholds, of course, very much lends itself to waking up late because you can totally have these wacky comebacks out of nowhere. Anima will stay with him off the respawn, but right now it's a pretty still close game here as they're still in control, 52-70. They've really brought this one back, and they can still turn this around if they keep this up.
Oh, thankfully, and his teammate there to at least finish off that kill. Otherwise, it's going to be a nasty. We just saw 57 just waiting up in the top, anchoring down, waiting and praying for someone to drop down. Pit's going to get taken in just a second unless the guys on Prophecy can make a difference here. 1, 2, 3. Everyone's dive bombing in. Wow. There's going to be 6 members all fighting it out for this pit. But you know what? There's Warlord. Triples there if he really wants it.
Just say, let me take a look. I think that should be, yeah, all 4 dead. Take a look at that for a split second. You saw all 4 dead, and that's going to be a trip cap. So I was going to say, it looked like the gentleman here on Bittersweet definitely got the better hand of that exchange, and they certainly did with Saw dropping as well. Now 82 trip cap plus Saw to protect bottom middle could spell disaster for Prophecy.
Flames is going to run straight into the oncoming Saw of Warlord. Stu puts it away for just a second. 57 challenges him. He's got one player around this corner. The triple's there if he wants it. He throws the grenade. As Flames is trying to get away, banks off, lands straight between his legs. Down he goes. This does not look good, ladies and gentlemen. If I was Prophecy, they did have a triple cap, and that got answered back with a triple cap. Flames will grab the Saw that Warlord just dropped, so maybe they can make something happen. But look at where one player is, and he's literally just camping here. That's going to be Anima. For so long, we just stopped them advancing anything on Pit.
That's right. Now, as we'll see, I think we're going to see now at Buck 57 trying to stay alive in Pit as well. And they've stopped the bleeding there, 59-96. They will have to have quite a run to close this out. Really, no room for error. I mean, they could lose a rotation for up to a few seconds at most if they want to. So they do have a tiny cushion for which they don't have to play perfect Halo, but it's going to require quite a comeback. 30 points to be exact here as Solar lands that grab pound.
Comes in out of midair, takes him down. Now pre-grenading as well because they're going to be coming off of that spawn. It doesn't hit any hitmarkers.
Gets it.
They've managed to get it. Yep. That's going to be GG for game number 3 as long as they hold this out for a few more seconds. Anima picks up a double, and his own teammate just ground pounds him for the fun of it.
And there you go. Look at that final score, 100-68. So it was once again a tale of Prophecy playing a little bit too slow, and then at the end, as you see, we just see Bittersweet closing it out. Taking a look now at the stats. Big story there, of course, Warlord racking up 17, but his teammates were not far behind. Solar with 16, Shady with 15, and Anima rounding out the team with 14.
On the opposing side, though, 57 and Vexus only just touching double digits, kind of same for Flav as well. But you know what? You got to give credit to 57. 8 captures there on the top, and 4 secures as well, doing the most objective teamwork. 100-68 is the final score for Game 3. We're moving into a Game 4. The bigger question is, Bravo, is this going to be a 4-game sweep?
Certainly could be. I mean, I've kind of waited each game to see what Prophecy might be able to pull off to counter what we're seeing from Bittersweet, because that's not. We should be very clear. It's not simply Prophecy not showing up. Bittersweet is playing fantastic Halo each game, and I mean, so far it's just been a story of Bittersweet playing as such a team, as such a unit, right? I mean, look at this. Remember this Plasma Flame is so unfortunate there as he drops onto that, but it was a 49-14 at this point in the game. Starting to see Prophecy put some points on the board, but once again, it's just too little, because every time you saw Prophecy maybe get something like a 10-15 point run, it felt like it was always answered back by a Bittersweet trip cap. They had at least 3 trip caps during that game. It might have even been more that they were able to do that. But there you see, 86-57 it was at that point, and our final score certainly reflective of, I think, what Bittersweet is able to do right now.
Yep, looking forward to seeing what happens in Game 4, and honestly, this is it. Will Prophecy be dropping down to face off against VWS? Will we see the changing of the guard? Only time will tell. Make sure you tweet the stream. Use the hashtag HCS. We're live all day. This, of course, is Relegation Saturday. We've got Championship Sunday tomorrow, which is going to be amazing. Get the guys down on main stage. Some of the players are down below just watching these games unfold and all the action online. You can see on screen now, you have got the map vetoes for game number 4. Obviously, Fathom has already been played, so that goes completely out of the wind whatsoever. We see Prophecy coming in with the first ban. They take out Stasis. And then we see, I'm going to say, answer back now from Bittersweet Coliseum, which once again landed on Another Truth. This time it's going to be CTF, something we all know and love, the good old midship days.
Interesting. I don't know enough about Bittersweet's play style and preference. You can perhaps shed some light on it, but interesting to see the Coliseum CTF veto come in. But the one reason that you have to think maybe they did it is just because of how confident they feel on Truth. Look at that, 50-37 win. They know how to play that map, and perhaps they just favor that Truth CTF.
So one thing we have said as well, Prophecy, in the past, we've seen them do, and I do mean this, disgusting things on Coliseum. This was originally when, back in the Summer League, they reverse sweeped the old X-Men roster where they play their ex-teammate Jimbo.
Yep.
And time again, we just see them, they just really seem to perform every single time when it comes to Coliseum. So, I mean, again, it could be a weak map here for Bittersweet. They'll say, no, we'll get rid of that. Or it could be a tactical one. Warlord knows the playstyle. Anima knows the playstyle. These guys have played them back in the Pro League. You've got Solar there as well. They know that this is a very, very strong game type, so they're going to go for this one.
Look at Buck20 there with a very Halo 2-esque midship start, just firing shots, or you could even say countdown Halo Reach start, where you're just firing as many shots as you can into the enemy base off the start. Buck20 is going to get a trade there, but it looks like it's actually Flames, who's now top middle here. We'll stay on board with him for a brief moment. But what's interesting? We're not seeing anyone utilize those bottom middle angles that Walsh and I were talking about at the openings of Truth, where you can really cut off that camo route. I've noticed no one's doing that. Curious to see if we're going to see any of that in today's tournament or even tomorrow, because I feel like that using bottom middle angles off the start is a really effective way to counter P1.
I think a lot of people as well seem to opt now because of how weird, I want to say, that the BR and the Carbine is on this, and especially with the fuel rod. Ooh, damn, that's going to be shady taking down Flames. One of his teammates has to come in and clean up on that fuel rod, but when you get the rifles and the fuel rod on this map, it can get very, very bad very, very quickly. You control top mid, which is exactly textbook what we saw in the VWS matchup. If you control the weapons on this map, you will be pinned back, you will be hurt, and the score will really escalate rather quickly. Warlord's going to take down Flames, puts a bullet between his eyes. The flag's on the run. Vexus needs to get the stop on this. Unfortunately, cannot because Warlord's there to clean up the double. We've got 57 top mid. Warlord's putting some shots on him just to try and pin him back. His teammate's there as well. There's the cleanup, and down he goes.
That's right. That's going to be a cap there, 1-0. I have to say, I'm so glad we were on board with Warlord throughout that entire sequence while we let the teams kind of settle out there after that first cap. Got to talk about, Warlord staying alive, being so careful. Think about it. When he was staying bottom middle and throwing those grenades there, I think it was Buck 57, he was fighting in the doorway. Make sure he doesn't push into the bottom of the base. Instead, plays very conservatively on a second angle, comes around, cleans up a kill on car side, right? Exchanges shots top middle, eventually led to the cap. He's such a good anchor in the back of his base. He didn't leave his base that entire time, played it so well, and it leads to their first cap.
Great defense coming out of Warlord, and honestly, that's a kind of, I want to say, surprises me from him, because he's usually in your face all over the place and a super hyper aggressive player. But then again, on a roster like this, it kind of suits him. We brought it up during when we were speaking last week on the open circuit. This team really sees, nerdy players like this is kind of what Warlord does. He knows all the cracks, all the crannies, anywhere that you want to kind of hide. He's the kind of player that will abuse it. He'll get a weapon and he'll abuse the system around him. Grenades are going in, down goes that flag. Shady's going to get a nice, easy return on that. Takes down one. One player's pushing in though, an Anima, so he needs to get this kill. This will be quite big for Warlord once again. Back in his base, grenades are going to go in. That should be a flag walk in there. We should be now dropped up to 2-0.
And look at that. It's too easy. We haven't even left Warlord's POV just because he's been such a central point in the game. And obviously, when you have camo fuel, a lot to watch here as well.
He didn't fire. He didn't fire on purpose. He saw the player up in the window. He didn't fire. There's the triple killing frenzy as well. Big Stu, he's on a tear, Andy. This is awesome work from him.
And he might as well just run this home, because look at this. He's done all the work for the past two caps, and he says, you know what, guys, I'll just take this here. He's going to come in, likely tee up the ground pound unless he has to clear out the base first. I think he's going to be good. And ladies and gentlemen, that is it. Take a look. 3-0 on the scoreboard here. 4-0 on the series scoreboard. Bittersweet looking good. They will advance in the winner's bracket. And Sims, what a story we have on Relegation Saturday.
This is insane. Ladies and gentlemen, both of our Pro League teams have fallen at the first hurdle. They're going to find themselves down in the loser bracket. Before we go any further, let's take a quick look at the kills. The story of that map, though, it's got to be Warlord, 110%. It was like running right at the end there. Insane stuff. Just how he had the camo, had the fuel rod, saw the player up in the window, thought, you know what, I'm not going to shoot where any other player, if there's a player, I'll kill him. Opted for a second, just paused, they grouped up, And players like that are what give you a score like that. 3-0, 4-0 in the series.
That is,
Insane.
I mean, that is great foresight to think that the player in the window will presumably drop back. They will not drop forward. They will not stay in the window, right? Because the window is an area that you stay in a limited. I mean, I don't even think about Halo like that. Not at all. So great thinking for him to then let the player drop down, use the fuel rod to eliminate the opponents. And let's go ahead and take a look at the highlights from that match.
One further thing we have to touch on then, Andy. We're having a Pro League team, at least one of them, going home. I did not expect to be saying that, guaranteed, after the first two series.
Here's the Warlord sequence. Take a look at that. Stays alive there at the bottom. He's still shooting. I mean, I actually don't think... I apologize to everyone else in the game because it felt like we stayed on Warlord the entire time. I'm glad because he did have that killing frenzy and put on quite a show, and it felt like watching the game from his POV. I'll let you look at this. Jumps up there, gets that kill as well. Ends up using 2 anyway, but is able to do it with ease. Gets the triple kill. His shields aren't even dented, unsurprisingly though, with that Camo Fuel Rod combo, but going to bring this in. And that was the Warlord show, that game.
Absolutely fantastic stuff from Warlord and the boys. But you know what? It's absolutely not over. We have got some amazing, intense Halo action coming today. We do, of course, have to eliminate 2 teams. One of them is guaranteed, maybe even 2, who knows, but definitely one of them is going to be a Pro League roster.
This officially marks the first time that a team will be relegated in the HCS Pro League, right? I mean, we saw Europe and North America, the teams held on each time.
And it's only a few hours into the day.
That's it, yeah. It's been a great weekend so far. And we'll have to see exactly how this one unfolds. Like you said, one of the 2 teams will be heading into the Pro League.
So we do have some more awesome matches coming up later on in the day. But for now, we do need to throw it down to our desk and have a quick recap of what we just witnessed on screen. Red Eye, gentlemen, over to yourselves.
Yes, thank you very much. I think at this point it's appropriate to bring up the meme. We've got a Savage tomorrow on screen, and we've just seen some Brutal and some Wreckedness. That is it. 4 maps in a row, all dominated by Bittersweet, and as the boys on the desk said, we have at precisely 2:26 PM a guaranteed new team in the Pro League.
Yes, and what a fashion they did it in as well. I mean, 4-0. Like, at least BWS put up a fight, right, against the open circuit team. Prophecy kind of just rolled over and just showed them their bellies. It's just such a shame to see them go down to the losers bracket in that fashion. They obviously do still have that chance of getting back in the Pro League, but it's just the story of their season, really, isn't it? They just carried on from where they left off. Yeah, we can talk about the matches ahead, but I think it's worth going through these. There were 4 very quick games indeed. And no real weakness anywhere, Harry. From Bittersweet, solid in every game. I mean, other Harry says they kind of rolled over and let them win, but they put up a bit of a fight in all of them. They didn't have it all their own way all the way through, but Bittersweet never seemed troubled, did they?
No, they didn't seem to have an issue at all. Like, they just, with Prophecy, just in general, they seemed way too slow. Half the time, I don't think they even knew what day it was. Like, I think quite a lot of the time, when they were playing, you could see with the coordination of Bittersweet, they knew exactly what was going on. They didn't hesitate to get any caps when it was available, when a couple were dead. I did see some awful mistakes, especially Vexus. He fused himself at one time and jumped into it.
Didn't he double grenade suicide as well?
Yeah. I don't understand why. I don't know if he pressed the wrong button or didn't know what he was doing, but basically he fusioned himself when he had sword in hand. Yeah. And that's when I started to think to myself, you know what? You're meant to be the best Slayer on Prophecy at the moment, and if you're going to panic and make mistakes like this in relegation, you deserve to go down to the losers round 1.
Watching some of the highlights through here, I guess when you look back at these other Harry, and you see the kind of plays that were made by Warlord all the way through, you've got to say he's put his money where his mouth was. He's done a bit of smack on social media before this. He's wound them up a little bit, but actually he's come to play, hasn't he? And arguably the MVP of the game.
Yeah, he was talking the talk. Now he's walked the walk. Obviously, only 1 series away from getting in the Pro League. But you're right, Warlord especially played very, very well that series. I mean, we saw on the Empire Stronghold game, he particularly put into a massive slaying performance, and that's what you really need on Empire Strongholds, because
17 kills on Stronghold alone. He also had a triple kill in that as well. Halfway through, Harry and I were marvelling at that one. When we watched it.
And there's another one right here as well.
Truth, ridiculous almost. I think Andy apologised for staying on him the whole game, but the game was so short. It didn't really feel like we only stayed on him.
Nope.
But the assists that he put up, and the kind of team support that he did for the first 2 flag runs, and then he just went, do you know what? I'm going to cap as well. Why not?
Warlord, though, compared to last season, there was a lot of things you could tell. For example, he didn't do enough damage dealt. He would have half the damage coming off the team. He'd hide a lot, crouch a lot.
He goosed on main stage.
Yeah, he did that as well. Yeah, so much for that.
Why would you bring that up now?
Listen,
of course he will.
It's in
I'm
the
building him up. He's had a great series. He's MVP.
Exactly. He's had a great series. It's all in the past.
But this is the Warlord we need to see, though, isn't it?
Okay.
This is the Warlord we
is.
need to see. He's playing how he should do. He's grabbing everything he can. He's got the support now to actually get him through to the next rounds. And with the next match, it'll be Bittersweet versus Egoed.
Yep.
I'm not sure if it will be close, but you could see Bittersweet didn't make barely any mistakes against the top.
It was 4-1 last time they played as well.
Yeah.
Bittersweet winning that one. So but I don't know how much can we take from the open circuit from that. This is a different ball game. This is for all the marbles playing in Pro League in 2017.
And also you have to remember that was a weekend ago, so they've had that week to try and iron out some of their flaws. Obviously we know Egoed are grinders. Bittersweet obviously not afraid of the grind either.
Not at all.
There were parts in that series that we touched upon. You said how much damage that Warlord was putting down. He's not known for doing that in the past, but there were just points in that series where the amount of damage that Warlord was putting down on the Prophecy squad,
the complete opposite end of the spectrum.
He was making them look like they'd never played the game before. And literally there were points where Buck 20 was just running in a straight line because he just didn't know where to go, and that's just the ridiculous amount of chemistry and power that this Bittersweet roster has.
What we've got to remember is the fact that whoever goes down to winners bracket, if Ego do go down, we could potentially see a rematch between VWS and Bittersweet.
Well, I mean, we've got all that to talk about before we get carried away, because VWS have now got to pick themselves up off the floor, which they literally put themselves on, and beat Prophecy, which they'll look at and think, well, they can do it, but can they after such a horrible first series? That's a big question.
It's a kick in the teeth, but what you need to remember is with Prophecy, they are quite an under-practiced team, but then again so are VWS. But you can tell from Prophecy's gameplay right there and then, there was way too many mistakes. VWS did do the same thing, but they put up more of a fight, and you can see that now that it's probably a wake-up call for them, but I reckon VWS may potentially edge Prophecy.
It makes for an intriguing affair because like we said, Prophecy, not one of those teams who are very well practiced and not very well drilled. VWS have a little bit more practice, potentially, a little bit better of a team, but they have just picked themselves up after that loss. It's going to be like a really intriguing and mouth-watering affair. It really just sets the stage for relegation. I'm so excited.
But we shouldn't cut out Prophecy
yet.
yet.
Excitement in the studio. We're all getting a bit excited. We are headed to a break very shortly, though, and of course, it's time to remind you that we have a competition for you right now. Head over to esl.pm/Halo, and I'm told that the lowercase version is now working, so you can just type as you wish. Head over there right now, and there are lots of prizes to win, courtesy of our friends at Astro, and of course Jinx with hoodies and lanyards and t-shirts, and also the ESL hoodies in amongst that lot as well, and 2 AR-40s with the mixers also to win. So head over there right now. We're headed to a break, as I said, but when we come back, it's winner chicken dinner. Let's find out who goes through to the Pro League. It's bound to be a new one. That's all we know right now. But which way does it go? Bittersweet or Egoed? We'll find out after the break.